Our family is destroyed. A little 9-year-old. They're full of energy, happiness. They look to mom and dad to protect them. And a moment like that, God, it goes through your mind. You're aware, obviously, of the mass murder in Nashville. 3 9-year-olds, third graders, and 3 adults. One of the adults was the headmaster of this private Christian school. And we've now learned that she tried to confront, or did confront, the mass murderer and was murdered. And the back information is that she also had quite an extensive training program for the school and the kids on what to do if a situation like this arises. And the police chief has indicated that as a result of that, many survived. The police were great heroes. We're going to take a look at this and comment on it. And most police are. Keep in mind that these are not SWAT member police. I understand one of them was an emergency medical assistant on one SWAT team for a period of time, but wasn't in the actual SWAT gunman sort of role, SWAT cop role. And you can tell these guys were they were terrific. Now this strikes home for us here because this occurred 1 mile from where my daughter lives, and her husband, obviously, and the 2 grandkids. And my granddaughter, 2 years ago, when she was 7, she's 9 now as well, played basketball with one of the young girls who was murdered. And it was the young girl who tried to pull the fire alarm and was murdered as she was trying to pull the fire alarm to alert all the other people in the school, the fire department. She was doing what she was supposed to do, and she's another hero, just murdered. It's so sickening. 9-year-old little girl, you just murder them? It's just unbelievable. So, I remember my daughter calling me yesterday and saying she was sick to her stomach over the whole thing. You can imagine. I remember that basketball game a couple of years ago. And they sent me a photo, which I'm not going to put up, of the whole team lined up. And she was the tallest on the team, the young girl that was murdered. And not necessarily the best on the team, but the tallest on the team, and my granddaughter was standing right next to her. And just think of your own situations. Afterwards, I remember they got the orange pieces, and they got the this and the that, and they were happy. Just little girls. And I believe they won that game, so they got medals. They were so excited. And the parents put out a very simple statement saying, "Our family is destroyed. Our family is destroyed." A little 9-year-old. They're full of energy, happiness. They look to mom and dad to protect them. And a moment like that, God, it goes through your mind. And I want to talk about, we will, because we have no choice, this gun control issue afterwards, because it keeps coming up, keeps coming up, keeps coming up. First of all, I want you to look at some of what took place on, I guess it was Monday. Go.
Overnight, police in Nashville releasing this chilling surveillance video showing the terrifying moments the shooter blasted their way into the small private Presbyterian school, shooting right through locked glass doors. The video also shows the armed person entering a church office and later stalking the halls with an AR-style weapon drawn, one of 3 firearms investigators say the shooter had.
We believe 2 of those may have been obtained legally, locally here.
Police calling the attack on the Covenant School targeted, adding the shooter left behind detailed plans of the deadly assault.
We have a manifesto. We have a map drawn out of how this was all going to take place.
Police identifying the shooter as 28-year-old Audrey Hale, who they say is transgender and was once a student at the school.
There's some belief that there was some resentment for having to go to that school.
Authorities say within 14 minutes, they were able to confront and kill the shooter, who fired at officers from a second-floor window, but not before Hale fatally shot 3 children and 3 adults.
There's multiple victims down inside the school. Shooter is down now as well.
Authorities later searching Hale's home, finding 2 shotguns and other evidence as they investigate potential motives. Among the victims, the school's headmaster, Dr. Catherine Kuntz, 61-year-old substitute teacher Cynthia Peak, and 61-year-old custodian Mike Hill. The children, all just 9 years old, identified as Evelyn Decas, William Kenny, and Hallie Scruggs, the daughter of the lead pastor of Covenant Church. Avery Myrick's mother was teaching in her classroom when the shooter opened fire.
She said she was hiding in the closet and that there was shooting all over, and just that she loved us.
Many parents unsure their children would come home.
There were so many police cars, and then the ambulances started coming away from the school.
President Biden ordering flags to fly at half-staff nationwide and urging Congress to pass a new assault weapons ban.
We have to do more to stop gun violence. It's ripping our communities apart.
While a group of new parents are now echoing a similar heartbreaking question.
How are our children still dying, and why are we failing them?
And I will deal with the gun control issue in a minute, because this just keeps coming up, and it is actually preventing us from doing what needs to be done to protect these kids.
For more, sign up for Levin TV.